Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace. How are you guys doing this evening? First of all, it seems like my audio has, I don't know, just done something crazy. Like it just switched all of a sudden. If y'all can hear me, type a one. Type a one if y'all can hear me. All right. Let me see something. All right, grace and peace. Grace and peace. Look like everybody can hear me so far. We got Lakeisha up in the house, and then we also got John Alston. All right, so let me see. Let me go ahead and let me try this real quick. All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Here we go. Here we go. We good now. We good. Grace and peace. Grace and peace, brother. Most excellent. Grace and peace. Most excellent. So listen, as y'all come in, go ahead and hit that like button and hit that notifications bell if you are subscribed and you haven't done it. All right. We have Aisha Lee actually playing around with this thing. Gotta go live on Instagram right now. Make sure I hit that live button on Instagram. All right, so listen, I don't know if you guys have heard or seen this story. Now, I know that Vocab Malone covered this. What was this, about a few years ago? I mean, I'm sorry, not a few years ago, a few months ago. Grace and peace, Bill Ramsey. Grace and peace. And it was about this lady who allegedly, well, I wouldn't say allegedly because she's been charged and convicted of killing her toddler. All right. She was convicted of killing her toddler. And some of the stuff was like pretty horrendous. I mean, some of the stuff that she did to this kid, it was bad. It was bad. So at the time, I guess they were going through like the beginning stages of the trial when Vocab Malone covered it. But I guess right now she has been convicted. She has been convicted. So before we actually get into the story, we got to ask our question. Only here on YouTube. I'm asking a question in the live chat. Can we expect behavior like this from BHI, which stands for Black Hebrew Israelites? 22% of you say absolutely. 0% of you say not at all, slander. Another 22% of you say not at all, and 56% of you say no comment. I'm trying to figure out where I made the mistake. I'm trying to figure out, how did I add another option? That one where it says not at all twice. That wasn't supposed to be there. So, let's go ahead and get myself to Mario. Grace and peace, Sister Sheila Mahone. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you. Thank you. We got a couple of my supporters up in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up and continuing y'all support. And like I say always, man, listen, y'all, you guys are greatly appreciated, all right? And also my Rumble people, my people on Rumble, go ahead and hit that like button, as well, because we are live. Instagram as well. All right, let's see what Sister Sheila says. She says, Sister Lakeisha. She says, I don't think being a BHI has anything to do with it. People are doing some evil things to their children. Yeah, correct. They are. But let's go ahead and get into the story. Now, this is from the BBC.com. All right, it's from the BBC.com, and this popped up in my news feed a couple of days ago. And I want to say that I do apologize because I was supposed to go live on this yesterday, but I got caught up in some stuff, so I couldn't go live yesterday. And, I know some of y'all probably kept seeing me push the time back, but I just wanted to make sure that I had enough time to be able to do this and not feeling rushed. All right. Aisha Lee says, was she involved in the camp? if I'm not mistaken, because see, when I caught Vocab Malone's live stream, I think that he was saying, I think he said that she was following some Hebrew Israelite camps online, but I don't know if she was an active member. All right. But let's see if we can get this all cleared up in this particular article. So it says, and this is from the BBC, so of course, you know, they're using the British accent and the British spellings when it comes to the words that are being written down, or I should say typed on this particular article. It says, Mom who canned, scalded and murdered, son jailed. Right? So yeah, if you guys are not familiar with the story, very, very tragic. Very, very tragic. John Austin says, what did I get caught up in? I got caught up in a conversation yesterday on Berean TV. All right, but enough about me. Enough about me. Let's go ahead. Let's grace and peace, Clarice. Grace and peace. All right. So it says a woman who caned, caned. A woman who caned, scalded, and murdered her 3-year-old son has been jailed for at least 25 years. Christina Robinson subjected Dwellen. I'm trying to see if I can pronounce this correctly. It seems like that it might be an African derivative of the name. So it's like Dwellenaya to quote unquote extreme cruelty in the weeks before his death in November 2022. The 30-year-old had denied killing or injuring her son, who had suffered extensive and excruciating bumps to his bottom half, and admitting caning him in accordance with her religious beliefs. So yes, this lady caned her 3-year-old son according to her quote unquote religious beliefs. Now, I don't think that this article goes too much into detail of what she actually believed in, but I'm going to see if I can pull up another article because I got a little bit of time tonight. So I may want to read that other article as well. So yeah, she did cane her son, and she did all types of stuff to this kid. And I mean, it's just so tragic. So tragic. Robinson of Upshaw Moor near Durham was jailed for life with a maximum term after jurors found her guilty of murder and child cruelty. The trial had heard that Dwellenaya, who had more than 60 injuries at the time of his death, was regularly and quote-unquote violently punished by his mother, including being quote-unquote forced to bathe in a forced into a bath of scalding hot water 18 days before he died. Wow. And I mean, this is kind of hard to read. It was kind of hard for me to read this earlier, but Aisha Lee says 25 years. That's it. No, she got 25 years to life. All right. So it's 25 years to life. And maybe in the UK system, they just kind of word it differently. But from what I've read, she's gonna serve a minimum of 25 years. So before they can even consider her for parole at any time, she gonna do those 25 years. And I guess depending on how her behavior is or whatever, then they'll probably come back and revisit to see if she'll be eligible for parole, or they could keep deny her parole and she can stay in there for life. You know, so that's basically how that works. Robinson, who was originally for Tamworth, Staffordshire, told jurors she was following the charges of her religion, the Black Hebrew Israelites, which preached punishing children. Prosecutor Richard Wright, KC, said her actions had been quote unquote sadistic with quote unquote extreme cruelty, and Dwellenaya was subjected to quote unquote ritual and persistent beatings. He said the boy was repeatedly struck with a cane, even while he was seriously injured with fatal burns. Oh, man. Oh, man. Says, will you would I have forgiven her if it was my child? I'll probably touch on that after I get finished with this article. Oh, quote, these were administered as punishment for behavior that was rather objectively trivial, but Robinson considered worthy of severe punishment, end quote. Now, here's the thing. This is a 3-year-old kid, 3-year-old boy. And she was saying that these particular punishments were considered worthy. I don't know. Why would you want to strike a 3-year-old with a cane? Now, I got 3 kids, and all of them were 3 at one point in their lives. You know. Now, my kids, I mean, they're pretty good for the most part. I never really, I never really had any problems with my children. I never did. But even when they did kind of get a little unruly or they did something, I never got that angry to where I wanted to strike them with anything, especially something like a cane. Grace and peace, Nate2D2, who is watching from Instagram right now. Grace and peace, grace and peace. Let's continue. Dwellanaya died after collapsing at their home on Bracken Court on November 5th. Oh, I'm sorry, on the 5th of November, with pathologists concluded that he suffered fatal brain injuries caused by a forceful shaking. Robinson, who sacked her legal team towards the end of her trial, spoke for herself at the sentencing after a second barrister withdrew from representing her shortly before the hearing. She called the charges against her, quote unquote, false and claimed she was, quote unquote, innocent. I don't know how she came to that conclusion. To be honest, I don't understand how she came to that conclusion. Robinson said, quote, I did not kill my child in any way. However, the prosecution chooses to say it, whichever way anyone wants to imagine it. The facts is I did not kill my child. I stand by that, and I'll forever stand by that. I pray for the day justice will be served, end quote. I mean, man, the times that we living in nowadays. I mean, when you're growing up and you kind of hear about the end days and you hear about things getting worse before they get better and how people's mindsets will be, et cetera, et cetera. It is interesting to actually see these things happening in our lifetime. I mean, it's really, really, sometimes it gets really tough hearing things like this, covering certain stories and articles like this. But to be honest, this is happening quite often in our society, So as you guys come in, go ahead, hit that like button. And I want you guys to answer the poll that I have in a live chat on YouTube where I'm asking, can we expect behavior like this from BHI, which is Black Hebrew Israelites? So far, 39% of you say absolutely. 22% of you all say not at all. Oh, I'm sorry. Man, let me go ahead and give myself I'm a little slow, y'all. All right, so 0% of you say not at all slander. 22% of you say not all. So basically saying not all Hebrew Israelites we can put up under that banner. And another 39% of you say no comment. You guys are just like, yeah, we just ain't gonna touch on that. Mr. Justice Garnham said he did not think Robinson's actions could be classed as quote unquote sadism, as it was not proven she got any pleasure in particular sexual from her actions. The judge said Robinson, quote unquote, plunged her son into a bath she knew was too hot because she was, quote unquote, angry after he soiled himself, causing, quote unquote, appalling and, quote unquote, dreadful burns. Then, despite him having burns covering 20% of his body, she did not seek medical treatment for him because she was, quote unquote, worried about what would happen to her, and her attempt to treat him with ointments and bandages bought online was, quote, wholly inadequate, end quote. Do we see the result of sin? Grace and peace, Nate2D2, who was joining us on Instagram, but now he's joining us right here live on the chat on YouTube. But we see how destructive sin is. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that people who profess to be Christian are not capable of things like this. Okay, I've read some articles of people who are professing Christians who have done egregious stuff like this. So I'm not saying that this is just one group. I'm not saying that this is, we can only expect this from Black Hebrew Israelites. One of the things that I'm asking is that when we hear these guys, especially like IUIC and ISUPK and, and some of these other camps, and they're yelling and they're using curse words and foul language, and they're telling you, you need to beat them kids. You need to have authority in your house. You need to use that rod of correction. And they're putting out these messages. And it's like they're not really taking into account of who's actually watching and listening to them. To where you may have a woman who is unstable, who listen to what they're saying, and they're putting Bible and scripture behind it and saying that this is what thus saith the Lord. And and if you want to be close to the Most High Yah, if you want to follow Yeshua, you better follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. And this is the way that you follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. And then you get somebody who is not being discipled properly, someone who is not getting any sound teaching from these guys, who might already be mentally unstable, and they get caught up in these cult groups like the Hebrew Israelites. No telling what can happen. This is why a lot of times we really got to be careful. We really got to be careful about what we are focusing on. This is why I spent quite a bit of time addressing the Black Hebrew Israelite movement on my channel, because I knew how dangerous it was. And a lot of people just say, oh, well, it's just a different view on scripture in the Bible. But it's just like, but if you got the discernment from the Holy Spirit to see what they're saying and then compare it to what's in the Bible, you'll see that this movement is dangerous. And to be honest, I can't really say that I'm surprised that something would come out of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. I'm sorry, I've seen too much. I've heard too many things about people who are either inside of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement or people who have migrated away from it. They used to be in the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. And I've heard some horror stories. I've had people, especially women, sending me emails saying that, hey, listen, my husband is in this. He got me into this and he's become more violent, more abusive. And I'm like, ma'am, you need to call the cops. I'm like, don't send me any emails, because there's really nothing that I can do to help you. But if it's really gotten to that point, then you really need to seek out the police and get them involved. John says, to be fair, it happens in all institutions. And yeah, that's what I was just saying. So that's why I can't just say, oh, well, it's just Black Hebrew Israelites. All I can say is that This happens in all institutions, but when we're looking at a cult, that's basically what it is. When we're looking at the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, where the people are just like, well, I'm not a part of a camp. I just believe in what they say. It's still a cultic mindset. It's still a cultic mindset. I don't care how radical or how moderate you are. They still have the same foundations. And if you don't have proper discipleship, and we've seen this happen, especially in the evangelical Protestant church, where people who are not up under sound teaching, who just branch off, do their own thing, and try to interpret the scripture for themselves instead of wanting to be up under a sound authority within a sound biblical church, a Bible believing church. We get these cults that'll rise up, and then you'll have somebody like a Jim Jones who'll pop up and kill, what is it? I think he killed like almost 1,000 people or something. So that's why, when I do videos like this, it's not to try to bash or bang on anybody or one particular group. It's to warn the flock. It's to warn the flock. I don't know who this guy is. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is a child molester. Yeah, I don't think that you need to be posting stuff like that in the chat. Respectfully, don't we definitely don't do that over here. We definitely do. We're about edifying people over here. All right, so you can't don't come with that. We definitely don't do that over here. All right, let's continue. Because see, I almost went on my soapbox for a little bit. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to this. Let's see where we were. The judge said she was callous, quote unquote, and later caned Dwellanaya as she, quote unquote, mistakenly interrupted her religious teachings to believe it was, quote unquote, appropriate to punish her son by hitting him with a bamboo cane. Quote, what must have gone through the mind of this little boy being beaten with a cane by his mother despite these terrible burns does not bear thinking about, the Mr. Justice Graham said. As well as causing physical pain to her son, Robinson's, quote unquote, mistreatment also involved leaving him alone unsupervised for, quote unquote, lengthy periods while she went shopping for medical appointments, the judge said. Oh, man. Wow. He said against the, quote unquote, background of such abuse, she murdered her son by, quote, shaking him forcibly and repeatedly, end quote, although the judge added he could not be sure she meant to kill him as opposed to just cause really serious harm. And that is the end of this particular article. And I'm going to see if I can pull up. Let me see if I can pull up the other article. This might be it. This might be the one that I'm trying to. Oh, hold on. They're trying to get me to pay for that. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the one that I wanted to read here. This is back in March of this year, and I think this is the one that Vocab Malone covered. So this is the article, and I'm going to go ahead and read through this one. It seems like it's not too long. And listen, for all of those who just came in here, go ahead and hit that like button. And for you guys who are subscribed, go ahead, hit that notifications bell as well. All right. But let's go back to this poll. Let's go back to this live poll that is here only on YouTube, live only on YouTube, where I'm asking, can we expect behavior like this from BHI, Black Hebrew Israelites? And 48% of you says absolutely. That's almost half of you guys. 0% of you says not at all, slander. 20% of you say not all, and 32% of you say no comment. All right, so almost half of you guys, I would say majority of you guys, are saying either yes, this is Black Hebrew Israelite behavior, and like almost the other half of you guys are saying like no comment. You know, yeah, just like Sister Paris said, yeah, it is sad. It is sad. All right, so this is from March 2024. Like I said, I think that this is the one that Vocab Malone covered. I'm gonna see if I can blow this up just a little bit, because y'all know I'm getting a little old, so I need to blow this up. And I'm looking at my other screen, and it did show pretty small on the other side. All right. Christina Robinson has been found guilty of murdering her 3-year-old son, Dwellanaya, who had suffered more than 60 injuries, including large excruciating burns to his lower body in November 2022. What happened to him, and how did she try to hide what she had done? Christina Robinson said she did her best for her son. What then? Prosecutors asked. What be her worst look like? Wow. Dwellanaya suffered agonizing injuries in the weeks before his death, for which no medical help was sought, was religiously caned for quote-unquote disobedience, and would regularly be left at home alone while his mother went shopping, gave lifts to her illicit boyfriend, or attended nail appointments. And by lifts, they mean rides. So you got to remember, this is coming from the BBC. So I don't want nobody saying that, hey, she was a Lyft driver. All right. Grace and peace. Don't tell who is watching from Instagram right now. Grace and peace. Go ahead and hit that like button, sir. At her murder trial in Newcastle Crown Court, prosecutor Richard Wright, KC, said Robinson, quote, had failed her son completely, end quote. Robinson replied, quote, I did my best for my son because I did not intentionally do anything to him, end quote. She also intentionally did not seek medical help for her son, she admitted. Robinson said it took her 3 days to release the severity of her son's scalding injuries. They were caused, she told the jurors, on October 19th when she was rinsing him with the shower head after he soiled himself and the water got hotter than she was expecting. So I guess this is the place where this is the house where this took place. Grace and peace, Stevie. Grace and peace. Paris said that the boyfriend probably got her into the BHI. And I want to continue to read this. I don't know if Vocab Malone brought that out the last time. Because like I said, when I caught that live stream that he done, it was like right in the middle of it. All right. By the time she became aware of the extent of his injuries, she was quote unquote ashamed and went into quote unquote care mode, knowing it would quote look really bad, end quote, for her. Quote, unfortunately, I put my feelings first, she told jurors after Mr. Wright accused her of prioritizing herself over her son's health and happiness. So y'all excuse me fumbling and bumbling, because they spell things a little differently in the UK. All right, because I was trying to figure out I was like, what the heck? What is that? So it's prioritizing. Instead of putting the Z, they put the S. Robinson ordered head bandages, dressings, salves, and creams online, but it was clear Dwellanaya was in agony. Neighbors reported hearing the child whimpering most nights, and Robinson's lover, Chinzum Innocent Onoja, said he saw Dwellanaya grimacing with pain and struggling to move. Okay, so the boyfriend saw this, and he didn't report it. So he did see that this child was in pain, and he did nothing. So I guess this is the bamboo stick right here that she was using. Health experts said that had Dwellanaya had been hospitalized, He would have needed a general anesthetic every day just for the changing of his bandages. Mr. Wright said his burns were quote unquote textbook injuries of a child deliberately immersed in boiling hot water, and Robinson did it as a punishment for the child soiling himself. Robinson said that was simply not true, that a quote toilet training accident did not warrant punishment, end quote. How many of you guys agree to that? Because the reports are saying that she punished her kid, and she did all of these things to him because he had soiled himself. But she's basically saying that that's not the case. And I think we got a video too. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and play that. Mr. Wright said she hid him away, knowing she would have serious questions to answer. All right, fair use. Let's go ahead and play this and see what she has to say in this video.
For generations, Bridgestone
All right,
has made
excuse the ad.
tires. Today, we're still tirelessly at work, doing our part to help ensure the journey is safer, smarter.
Go ahead and just cut that out. Yeah, Sheila Mahal says those canes are used in Japan and they hurt too.
We were just downstairs, he was eating his food, and then all of a sudden, like, it was sort of like spluttering sounds, and then he just sort of like went limp. And I didn't know what was going on. I just thought he was messing around because he doesn't chew his food very well. So I didn't really notice straight away. And then when I saw that he went a bit limp, that's when I thought, okay, let me rush him upstairs and then try CPR.
How long do you think he was struggling with his food for?
Oh gosh, to be honest, I don't even know. I don't even know, like, maybe like a few seconds, like 10 seconds or something. Sorry, I'm just a bit out of breath from doing the CPR.
That's fine.
Wow. So I guess that this was that's when the police showed up. And I guess she was just kind of letting them know what happened, of what happened. Super Jam says, if I'm being fair, I'd say the fact that this lady was a black peeper. Oh, black peeper light. Okay. I guess he's I guess he's been a little facetious there. Had nothing to do with her mental state. I think she would be crazy and done that to her son, no matter which religion. How many of you guys believe or agree with Super Jam that she would have ended up him a black Hebrew Israelite? How many of you guys agree with Super Jam? Super Jam saying that no matter whether she was a black Hebrew Israelite or not, most likely she probably would have continued. She probably would have done this anyway. Parents said whooping your child because they soil themselves is not acceptable. It's a part of potty training. Grace and peace, Robert M. Grace and peace. Super Jam says maybe her religion gave her an excuse to do what voices in her head was telling her to do. Hey, I mean, I think that could be it. Sometimes the devil just needs just a little push. Just a little bit of a push in the wrong direction. And again, we see how destructive sin is. Like right now, my family and I, we are going through a family devotion. And we're just starting from, we had already gone through the Bible before, but we're going back through it with this particular family devotion. It's a little bit more organized and detailed. So we're going back through Genesis, and you can already see just a couple of generations after the fall, how the world was just turned upside down. And the Bible says that the thoughts and intentions of man's heart was just constantly evil and wicked. So in a way, I do agree with Super Jam. I do agree that, yes, I believe that, no matter whether she was a black Hebrew Israelite or not, it doesn't matter. She is still capable of doing something this egregious. And like I said before, I've heard professing Christians doing egregious stuff like this. I think that there was a case where there was this older white couple who, they had adopted these black children. It was like 3 or 4 of them. And I think they ended up abusing one of the children, or I think they ended up killing one of the kids. And they were using like extreme tactics, and they were like beating them and doing all types of stuff, you know? And I mean, it was just wicked. And I think they ended up going to jail for abusing those children. So I don't think that we can just blame it on one set of people or one particular people group. But however, I do believe that, just like Mega Jam said, depending on who was her influence, kind of gave her that much more of a push to go ahead and carry these things out. Because I'm not going to sit back and be like, oh, well, you know, this only happens with Black Hebrew Israelites. Because there's probably some people sitting up in church right now who would do the same thing if they had the chance. But some of these people are probably up under sound teachers and sound pastors, and they have people who are accountable to them spiritually, other brothers and sisters in the faith, who probably has, you know, stopped them from doing certain things or helped them to change their heart via giving them the gospel and them now turning away from those particular things. Sister Sheila says, I think in case she's using mental health as an excuse, she had sense to try to hide what she was doing. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I wanted to bring out earlier too. And I mean, she was just like, well, you know, I didn't mean to hurt him. I didn't mean to kill him. But when she realized when she realized what she had done, then she tried to cover it up. So I'm kind of with Sheila on that. I mean, he ain't that crazy. I mean, she wasn't that crazy. All right, let's continue. It was that same drive to protect herself that, and Sheila was just talking about this. All right. So listen to this. It was that same drive to protect herself that saw her fail to call an ambulance for more than 20 minutes after, 20 minutes after her son collapsed and stopped breathing in their home in Upshaw Moor near Durham on November 5th. So the boy stopped breathing. He collapsed and he stopped breathing. And then 20 minutes later, then that's when she decided to call the police or call the ambulance. Man. She says she simply didn't think to call 999, which is their version of 911. All right. So remember, they're in the UK. She didn't think to call 999, that it was a quote unquote heated situation. And she was panicking, too focused on performing CPR on Dwellanaya while messaging her husband and making internet searches to make sure she was doing it right. Okay, so this lady was performing CPR and going online to see if she was performing CPR correctly instead of calling the ambulance to come and help. Man. Robinson claimed he choked on a cheese bap and she was quote unquote completely clueless as to how he died. All right, so I guess this is her. So this is some of the CCTV footage of Christina Robinson out and about while her young son was left home alone. So remember, he's 3. He's 3 and she's at the store. Wow, amazing. Doctor and pathologist told a very different story. They found deep bruise marks on his elbows and suggesting he had been grabbed and fatal brain injuries caused by a forceful shaking. She was adamant she did not shake her son, telling jurors she physically could not have, as she had low iron at the time, which reduced her energy and strength.
Stop the cap.
Yet she had the energy to strike him with a cane an hour or so before his collapse, Mr. Wright said.
Bruh.
KL, I'm going to see if they're going to bring that out in this particular article, because from my understanding, she was married to a guy that was in the military and he was away on leave or something like that. So he wasn't there. But I think in the meantime, she was seeing another guy. So I don't know. I may have to look into that, and I'm hoping that they clear that up in this particular article. All right, let's continue. Quote, it didn't take much energy, end quote, she replied. She told jurors she had only hit him with the cane on that one occasion, although she could not recall how many times she struck him or how he reacted. The boy had at least 19 or so tramline wounds, indicative of having been caused by the bamboo cane Robinson admitting using. She was a new follower of the Black Hebrew Israelites. Ooh. Dang. So that kind of explains it a little bit. So she had just started following the Black Hebrew Israelites. But let's continue to read. And that Saturday was her Sabbath, a day dedicated to God, in which she watched hours of YouTube videos and scripture discussions. Well, I can't say that that's a lie. I can't say that that's a lie. Because, I mean, we know that there's some people, and I brought this out before, too, in other discussions about how this whole Hebrew Israelite thing has people tuned in hours at a time on YouTube, on the quote-unquote Sabbath, and just filling their head with all types of just mess and trash and unbiblical teachings, falsehoods, blasphemy. Robinson was excited and eager to follow the Bible-based religion of her quote-unquote bloodline, She said, so when she heard about the need to use the rod of correction, quote-unquote rod of correction, she embraced that too. Wow. Paris says, I was about to say, because they don't tolerate women teaching. Sheila says, why does she have to go upstairs to start CPR instead of doing it where they were? I guess because that's when she was, she went upstairs to go search the YouTube videos or something. I don't know. But you see the stuff that I was talking about 3-4 years ago of how dangerous this particular sect could be. Now, just like I mentioned earlier, that you do have some Christians, and there's been stories and reports about certain Christians who have done egregious things like this. But when you have a group like the Black Hebrew Israelites, and you're hearing them, majority of these camps are teaching stuff like this, it's kind of hard to kind of correlate the two. Because, yeah, it does happen in evangelical circles, but what is the overall message that you get about how to discipline and how to train a child? And I said this one time before, a few weeks ago, I was just at a conference that was basically instructing and teaching people how to successfully and biblically disciple and raise their children. How men should be able to successfully disciple their household, the wives and the children, and what that looks like biblically. But if I'm being honest, I don't think that I can say that about the Black Hebrew Israelites. Just like we do have fringe groups within evangelicalism, and we can say, okay, well, these people were following this fringe sect of evangelicals. Now these people were not really mainstream. Everybody agrees that what this particular fringe sect was teaching is unbiblical. And there's been people who have addressed this hundreds of years ago, and we've already considered that heresy. But then when you look at the Black Hebrew Israelites, their quote unquote fringe groups will be the people that's actually following the Bible correctly. So it's a small portion of people that I've come across to where I'm just like, okay, I don't really have too much of a problem with the way that these guys practice and I don't really think that they're too much of a threat. I mean, I would just say that I think that they're confused in doctrine and what they believe about the Bible, but I don't really think that they're too much of a threat. But majority of the Hebrew Israelites, is something else going on. It's some demonic spiritual stuff that's going on. So, but again, this is the stuff that they put out online for everybody to see. They constantly putting out footage. What do you see from the footage? You don't see the gospel. You see a bunch of hate, malice, promises of violence. And y'all saw the post that I put in the community section on YouTube earlier from a guy in 2019. I did a video. The man got so triggered. He said, I wish I knew where you were and I would come and shoot you right in your face. The man wished death upon my family. And he's a quote unquote Hebrew Israelite. So you mean to tell me that particular mindset, if taught online in front of a bunch of people who already reject Christ, who already reject the gospel, that somehow we should be surprised that something like this would happen by some lady who's just sitting at home, a new follower of the Black Hebrew Israelite movement? Yeah, everybody's saying that they saw that post. So that's why when I tell people, when my energy be strong against Black Hebrew Israelites, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I keep my gun on me. I ain't trying to brag or boast. Because I'm telling you, boy, these times are getting evil, and you don't know, and you just really don't know what could happen out there. You really don't. And I mean, it's sad that we have to live in these times, but at the same time, we don't need to get complacent. Right now, we need to be more bold for the gospel. Man, let me try to finish this up. I'm just on here rambling. Dwellanaya was, quote unquote, messing about with his food, so she punished him by striking him across the chest with the cane, which he had bought to assist in her gardening. Quote, I just really wanted to be obedient to God, and I thought that this was part of it. I really wanted to be obedient to God, and I thought that this was a part of it. Now you see the danger of misrepresenting the text. That's why some of the stuff we cannot take lightly. We can't take some of the stuff lightly. I'm sorry, not likely, but lightly. We can't. When people start to misrepresent the text, this is why we got to be able to call some of this stuff out. And people think that, oh, y'all just want to come against the Hebrew Israelites. No, this is one of the reasons why. Grace and peace, XXX, space X. He says Romans 16 and 17, or he or she, however you self-identify as. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye believe, and avoid them. Yes. Yeah, so just like Paris said, yeah, it did influence her. It did influence her. And like I said, we can talk about evangelicals, this, that, and the third, but this lady is clearly putting this on the Bible. She was asked by her then barrister, Jamie Hill KC, whom she later sacked as the trial neared its conclusion, how she felt about her actions. She did not say that she regretted the pain she had caused her son. Instead, she only spoke of herself. Quote, I believe I was misguided, she said, adding, quote, I've had the opportunity to get into the Bible more and learn more and understand and get to know God more. My relationship with him, yeah, it's great. Now looking back, I can see how much of a babe I was then, a beginner, end quote. The court heard she grew up in Tamsworth, Staffordshire with her mom and 3 siblings. At the age of 16, shortly before she was due to take her GCSE, in which she was predicted, which she was predicted A's to C's, her family moved to Bulgaria so her mother could be quote unquote mortgage free. Robinson worked as a mobile hairdresser before the family returned to Tamworth when she was 23. She trained to be a personal trainer and got a job in a gym, but stopped working after she fell pregnant with Dwellanaya, who was born at Good Hope Hospital in Sutton Coldfield in August 2019. Robinson had met his father, 33-year-old Gabriel Adu Apau, on a dating site, and the pair married and moved to Newcastle 6 months after his birth. Quote, I had always wanted to live up north, she said, in explanation of their decision to relocate. After a period in Newcastle, they moved to Bracken Court and Upshaw Moor, where they struck neighbors as a happy, normal family, friendly but private. Dwellanaya appeared to be well-behaved and a quiet boy, always impeccably dressed, although in voice notes to Mr. Onoja, Robinson said he was a troublemaker who deserved a major A-kicking, end quote. What? Hold up. I want to make sure I'm going to read this slow. Because I'm trying to figure out who is Mr. Onoja. Because I think that Mr. Onoja is the boyfriend. Oh, let me go back up. Yeah, because see, this is the dad. Gabriel Adu Apau. Okay, so that's the dad. So Mr. Onoja, I think that's the boyfriend. But let's see. Let's see if this is gonna get cleared up. Let's see if this is gonna get cleared up. Robinson initially told police her marriage was fine, but later told jurors it was a wreck. She wanted a quote-unquote very large family with children in the quote-unquote double figures, but her husband only wanted one and said, quote-unquote, he didn't care when she suffered a series of miscarriages, Robinson claimed. She said he was more interested in his career, as demonstrated by joining the RAF and moving to Aylesbury, at which the time she said was, quote, completely done, quote, end quote, with the marriage. Okay, so I guess the RAF is their military. Oh, okay, so Sheila said that she thinks it's the neighbor. Okay. So that could be it. That could be it. Oh, no. Hold up. She started an affair with a 27-year-old Mr. Onoja. Uh-oh. There you go. Clear it up right there. So hold on. But before we go any further, Mr. Onoja said that wait. Okay. Other voices to Mr. Onoja. Oh, Mr. Robinson. Okay, Mr. Robinson wanted to lay hands on Mr. Onoja. All right? He wanted to lay hands. He wanted to lay hands on a boyfriend. Okay. So I thought it was the boyfriend that wanted that said that the little boy should get hands laid on him. But the ex-husband said that this guy was a troublemaker who deserved a major woof. All right now. Okay. So he wanted to lay them holy hands on him. Okay, so she started an affair with 27-year-old Mr. Onoja from Middleburg, whom she met on the same dating app as she found her husband in September 2022. Robinson became pregnant through a sperm donor. Oh, wow. So hold up. So that's not even his kid biologically. Robinson lied to Mr. Onoja about her marital status and to her husband, not even telling him she had fallen pregnant. All right, well, hold on. I'm having a slow moment. Hold on, I'm having a slow moment. All right, because I want to get this back in context. Get this back in context. Okay, so Robinson is the lady. Okay, that's the lady. Mr. Anoja is the side piece boyfriend. And Mr. Gabriel Abdul-Powell is the ex-husband. All right. So I'm going to try to put this in context. You know?
Bruh.
Having a slow moment. You know, all these love triangles and all of that stuff. My mind can't process all of that information. Okay. All right. So Mrs. Robinson is the one who told her boyfriend that her son, the 3-year-old boy, was a troublemaker who deserved a major A-kicking. Yes. So that's the context. That's the context. Wow. So she admits that her son needed to be abused. So I guess she was sending the boyfriend text messages saying that her son who was a troublemaker, who needed his A kicked. All right, so Robinson, the lady, lied to Mr. Anoja, the side piece, about her marital status and to her husband, not even telling him she had fallen pregnant. Lies were a common theme. She lied to police about Dwellanaya's skull injuries, claiming he had caused them himself while he was messing around with the shower. She lied to detectives about using physical punishment, saying she had only ever slapped his bottom and never used a weapon against him. She lied to the police about the state of her marriage, saying it was fine before later claiming in court they were separated. She told jurors she only ever used a cane to chastise Dwellanaya, then later remembered she also used serving spoons. It's like Lakeisha says, she says, man, some of these women do not want their kids. Very sad. Very sad. I think that there's a lot of layers to this. And that's why I'm just like, I can't fully blame this on the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. Although I want to. I want to be that guy. I would have broad brushed all these Hebrew Israelites. I want to say, if you get into Black Hebrew Israelism, this is what it's going to lead to. All of these people are wicked, they're evil, and they're child abusers. No matter how bad I want to say it, but I can't. Because the Holy Spirit is not going to allow me to do that. Now, although they do that to us, you know, I still can't give that same energy. I still can't, in honesty, give that same energy. But I will say, according to this lady lying, oh, she was perfect for the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. You know, being a pathological liar is something that we've seen from the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. So maybe she was a perfect candidate for them. All right. Okay. All right. Robinson admitted she had lied repeatedly, but said she did so because she was quote unquote afraid she would not be believed. Robinson insisted everything she told the jury was the truth. They obviously disagreed and sided with Mr. Wright. Dwellanaya died after being subjected to a campaign of quote-unquote sadistic cruelty and violent punishment from the woman who was supposed to protect him. She was also found guilty of 4 child cruelty offenses, end quote. And that is the end of this second article. So this article did give a little bit more context to the first one. So I guess at the time that they did this article, they were getting ready to sentence her, or she had already been charged, but they didn't sentence her. And I think that just a couple of days ago, she actually got the sentence and the punishment, which is 25 years to life, which to me, I think it's fair. I think it's fair that this lady, she definitely deserves to be behind bars for what she did. Female user 2024 says anyone in any religion can be this evil. That is true to a certain extent, but there's only one true religion, and that is the religion that follows Christ, which is Christianity. All right. So when properly followed, the gospel, the word of God changes the heart of man. You don't get a chance, or you don't get the luxury, if you want to call it that, to change your own heart. This is a work that's done by the Holy Spirit. So, and I know some people, they got a problem with, regeneration. Who initiates regeneration? Is it you? Is it God? Who takes that first step? It's actually God. God is the one who chooses who is going to be regenerated. And if a person truly wants to be regenerated, then that person needs to continue to repent and pray to the Lord. There's been a lot of stuff that I wanted to be delivered from, and I have been delivered from because of the work of the Holy Spirit, because I know I can't do this stuff alone. Now, when you turn around and you say, well, hey, I don't want Christ. I don't want the Bible. I want myself. I want to do things myself, and we're going to see where the chips may fall. Then you can easily slip into this. Grace and peace, Mike, I'm sorry. He says, we are not black Hebrew Israelites. You will not find that in the Bible. We are simply Israelites. Christianity is a sin. All right, don't block them, y'all. Don't block them. Don't block them. All right. Let me see. Make sure that y'all don't block y'all don't block the Hebrew Israelite. Hopefully y'all ain't done it, because I don't see him. I don't see the man inside of the inside of the YouTube chat. Somebody already done got him up out of here. Actually, when he says that, oh gosh, look at this one right here. I knew it. I knew it. Dang, she got him. I couldn't even finish reading the man comment, and she done blocked the man. Whoa, boy, she is quick. Oh, man, she quick with that trigger, boy. But she got a hair trigger on that wrench. Dang. Joshua Run says BHI was like NOY was COINTELPRO since the 60s. Yeah, I believe that they've been, I believe that the black Hebrew Israelites have been infiltrated. Now, this guy, he's just like, we're not black Hebrew Israelites. Well, first of all, they were the ones who started calling themselves black Hebrew Israelites. Okay? That's how we ended up with the term. They started it. But then when people started kind of like calling them that, and they started kind of doing a different or a segregation to start to differentiate them from other people, then that's what don't call us black Hebrew Israelites, call us Hebrew Israelites. And then when they turn around and you call them Hebrew Israelites, don't call us Hebrew Israelites, just call us Israelites, because that's what we are. This is an ethnicity. It's not a religion. So they make up all of these terms, and then, they always flip-flop, they always gonna flip-flop. So, no, I'm gonna keep calling you black Hebrew Israelites. All right? That's what we're gonna do over here. If you don't like it, just unsubscribe and just don't even come to the channel. Just stay over there. But we're gonna keep calling you black Hebrew Israelites because, we gotta give y'all some type of title. Because y'all give us titles all the time. Just like that guy. Let me go ahead and put it back up. I know that y'all blocked him. Y'all went on ahead and got him out of the chat quick. That's why I was saying, hey, don't block him. Just wait. But it was too late. He had already met his demise. But see, he says Christianity is a sin. Right? So a lot of people will turn around and say, oh, Alton, you a coon, and You are this, that, and the third, and you gonna be destroyed with Esau. Esau's supposed to be white people. So they give everybody else a term, and they put everybody else in these categories, but then you can't do it to them because they cry foul. You know what I'm saying? They always hit you with one of these. You know? Quick to hit you with that, quick. You know? But anyway, let me get ready to wrap this up. But listen, but before I do that, listen, all y'all people who just came in, hit that like button. Hit that like button. And if you guys are subscribed, hit that notifications bell. Go ahead and do that. And before we get up out of here, let's go ahead and read this poll where I'm asking, can we expect behavior like this from BHI, which is Black Hebrew Israelites? 51% of you says absolutely. 5% of you say not at all. It's slander. 14% of you says not all. And 30% of you say no comment. All right. But y'all know I got to go on my little diatribe before we get up out of here. Listen, this is, and I don't care. Once again, I don't care what sect or what group of people who commit evil. Whether we can see majority or a lot of egregious acts coming from one particular group of people. If I'm being fair, these same things have taken place within the church. And actually, I'm thinking about doing a live stream because it seems like that, and I'm trying to see, well, I can't do it tomorrow or Thursday. I might try to do it Friday if I got a chance to do it. But there's a lot of sexual abuse happening within the church right now. A lot. There's a lot of sexual abuse happening in the church, and I think that I really need to cover that because when I go to thechristianpost.com, there's a lot of articles, and I mean it's almost like 3 or 4 articles a week. Let me see if I can just kind of give you guys. If I can go ahead and try to give you guys a preview. All right. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Right. So look at this. Let's look at some of the most recent articles that is just on, this is just on thechristianpost.com. This is May 28th. Alabama pastor charged with rape, sodomy may have used church to contact victims. That is what really wanted me to start to do a whole live stream on a lot of these articles. I'm not going to sit back and read every article. Not going to do that, but I think that I'm going to pull key things from certain articles, and we are going to have a discussion on this because I think that this is something that needs to be talked about. You know, look at there. Second pastor at Living Word Church charged with sex crimes. That's May 24th. So this is the 28th. 4 days before that, there's a pastor charged with sex crimes, right? There's been some sexual stuff going on with the SBC. Pastor Matthew Queen charged with obstructing DOJ FBI investigation of SBC. IHOP KC, Forerunner Church closes with his final service to Mike Bickle scandal because you know Mike Bickle was caught up in a sex scandal as well. So this is all, I mean, there's a lot of this stuff going on. A lot of this stuff going on within the evangelical church. So let's not get it twisted to think that this is just only one group of people, one sect of people. No. We got some problems. We got some problems in this world, and it is dealing with sin. And that's why this channel is geared towards dealing with sin. And we got to be honest. And I mean, what happened to this particular kid is tragic. It's very, very tragic. And I don't take any of this stuff lightly. That's why I try not to, I joked a little bit, on this live stream, but I try not to joke too much. because this lady killed another image bearer of God based on what she thought God was revealing to her in the Bible. But this is why I tell you guys a lot of times, please make sure you understand these scriptures correctly. If you don't understand something, make sure that you go to the Lord with fervent prayer. This is why I always, I can't stress this, how important this is enough. Put yourself up under a sound pastor. Surround yourself with sound believers within a body. Don't be out here just winging it on the internet and YouTube videos. These are tools that can help, but you really got to be within a sound body of believers. Man, it's just really, really, it's sad when I hear stuff like this. But at the same time, we got to study to show ourselves approved. And then we have to make sure that we're understanding the scriptures correctly, so therefore we can properly give the gospel. Because what happens nowadays is that people get a lot of this head knowledge from the Bible, but then all they want to do is argue and debate and go back and forth with people like the Black Hebrew Israelites, or they go back and forth with atheists and other groups of people. But it's just like, you know, are you just trying to win arguments, or are you really concerned about people's souls? What is your overall message? That's why every live stream that I do, whether it's a long live stream or it's one of these shorter news segments, I always try to end with the gospel, with the Bible, with thus saith the Lord. Because I want people to understand the reason why I do this. I can get on here and argue back and forth with Hebrew Israelites and atheists and, you know, this, that, and the third. I've done that before on my channel. I got plenty of videos. I got plenty of videos of me going back and forth with all of these different folks, conscious community, you name it, you know. But at the same time, as I grow in my faith, I need to know, I need to be better at spreading the gospel, making sure people understand the overall point and the overall message that is being presented on my channel. This is why we're Christians. We're here to spread the gospel. That's our main priority. Not to try to win arguments. But anyway, listen, I'm about to get up out of here. I am about to get up out of here. But listen, y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that notifications bell. Like, rate, share, comment, subscribe. All of that good stuff. And listen, as we get ready to get up out of here, y'all go ahead and partake in that live poll that we got only on YouTube. And listen, I will see you guys next time, Lord willing. Peace.